The Candle and the Star. The candle and the star argued over who shone brighter until they learned the secret of shining together. The world on this cold, clear, and deeply silent Christmas Eve was divided into two kingdoms. There was the world below, a small, cozy, and deeply human kingdom of warmth and light. And there was the world above, a vast, cold, and celestial kingdom of a different and more ancient kind of light. In the world below, in the window of a small, quiet chapel at the edge of a sleeping village, stood a candle. It was a tall, elegant, and proud candle made of the purest, creamiest, and most fragrant beeswax. Its wick was perfectly trimmed, and its flame was a beautiful, steady, and unwavering teardrop of pure golden light. It had been lit just as the last of the twilight had faded, and its purpose was a simple and a noble one: to be a small, warm, and hopeful beacon in the long, dark, and winter night. From its perch on the stone windowsill, it could see the entirety of its small and important kingdom. The gentle, snow-dusted curve of the village lane, the dark, sleeping shapes of the cottages, the warm and deeply comforting glow of its own light reflected on the frosty window pane. And in the world above, in the vast, silent, and impossibly deep dome of the heavens, hung a star. It was not the largest nor the most famous of the stars. It was a modest but a deeply and fiercely brilliant star, a single perfect and five-pointed diamond of pure, cold, and silver-white fire. It had been shining in its fixed and appointed place in the cosmic tapestry for a million years. Its purpose was a grand and an eternal one, to be a distant, beautiful, and unwavering guidepost in the vast, dark, and trackless wilderness of the cosmos. From its high and lonely celestial perch, it could see the entirety of its grand and silent kingdom. The gentle silver curve of the sleeping earth, the faint, shimmering dust of distant galaxies, the slow and majestic waltz of the turning universe, characters' wish or struggle, the heart's winter. The candle, in its proud and slightly vain heart, knew that it was the most important light in the world. It saw the immediate and the tangible effect of its own beautiful glow. It saw the way its light made the small, dark chapel feel like a warm, safe, and sacred haven. It saw the way a lonely, late-night traveler passing by would look up at its small, steady flame and smile, a small and grateful acknowledgement of its comforting presence. It was a close, a personal, and an intimate light. It was a light that was needed. The star, in its vast, ancient, and slightly arrogant heart, knew that it was the most important light in the world. It saw the grand and the eternal scale of its own magnificent brilliance. It knew that its light traveled for 1,000,000 years, a pure and an incorruptible message from the deep and ancient past. It knew that sailors on distant and stormy seas used its steady, unwavering position to find their way home. It knew that poets and dreamers and lovers would look up at its cold and distant beauty and feel a sense of profound and a timeless wonder. It was a grand, a universal, and an eternal light. It was a light that was revered, and so a silent and a prideful argument began between them. It was not a conversation of words, but a conversation of light. The candle would burn a little brighter, its golden flame reaching a little higher, as if to say, "Look at my warmth. Look at my intimacy. I am the light that touches the heart." The star, in response, would shine a little sharper, its silver-white fire a little colder and more brilliant, as if to say, "Look at my vastness, look at my permanence. I am the light that guides the soul." Each was convinced of its own supreme importance. Each was blind to the value of the other. Their shared wish was a selfish and a lonely one, to be acknowledged as the one true and most important light. The magical encounter, a spark of wonder. As the night deepened and the world fell into its most profound and peaceful pre-dawn slumber, a new and a different kind of weather began. A thick, cold, and deeply disorienting fog began to rise from the low, marshy fields beyond the village. It was a strange and a magical fog, a silent and a heavy blanket of pure and impenetrable white. It did not just cover the land, it seemed to swallow it. The candle from its perch on the window-sill could no longer see the village. Its own beautiful golden light, which had once reached so far, now only illuminated a small and deeply claustrophobic circle of swirling and featureless white mist. Its kingdom was gone. Its purpose was lost. It was a warm and a beautiful light, shining on nothing. A cold and unfamiliar feeling of fear and of uselessness began to creep into its waxy heart. The star from its high and celestial perch was also blinded. The thick, white, and impenetrable blanket of fog had completely obscured the world below. The gentle silver curve of the sleeping earth, the distant and reassuring lights of the cities, they were all gone. Its own brilliant silver light, which had traveled for 1,000 years, was now stopping uselessly on the back of a thick and an indifferent cloud. Its grand and eternal purpose was lost. It was a magnificent and a powerful light, with no one to guide. A cold and a deeply unfamiliar feeling of loneliness and of irrelevance began to flicker in its ancient, fiery heart. Both of them, the small and the great, the warm and the cold, the intimate and the eternal, were now lost and alone in a vast and a silent sea of white. Their prideful and their foolish argument was over. It had been replaced by a shared and a deeply humbling sense of their own individual and profound limitation. The transformation, the gift within it, was in this moment of shared and silent despair that a new and a very small sound could be heard. It was the faint, high, and deeply frightened bleating of a lamb. A single, small, and very foolish lamb from a nearby farm had wandered away from its flock in the darkness, and it was now hopelessly and terrifyingly lost in the thick and the disorienting fog. It stumbled through the white and featureless world, its cries a small and a deeply pathetic sound in the vast and indifferent silence. The candle heard the cry, and its small waxen heart ached with a profound and a helpless compassion. Its own warm light could not reach the lamb. It was not strong enough to pierce the thick and the heavy fog. The star heard the cry, and its great fiery heart was moved by a strange and an unfamiliar feeling of pity. Its own brilliant light could not reach the lamb. It was too high, too distant, its light too cold and diffuse to offer any guidance in the thick and the blinding mist. And then a new and a beautiful idea was born. It was not a thought, but a silent and a magical consensus, a deep and an intuitive understanding that passed between the two lonely and now humbled lights. They needed each other. The star, with a great and a mighty effort of its ancient and celestial will, gathered all of its vast and its brilliant energy, and it focused its powerful silver-white light not on the whole wide world, but into a single, fine, and intensely brilliant laser-like beam. It aimed this beam, this pure and concentrated arrow of starlight, down, 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 through the vast cold and empty space, and through the thick and the heavy blanket of fog, and it aimed it with a perfect and a beautiful precision directly at the small and the steady golden flame of the candle in the chapel window. The candle, in turn, opened its small and its warm heart, and it did not flinch or shy away from the intense and the powerful beam of starlight. It welcomed it, it embraced it, it allowed its own small and golden flame to become the vessel, the lens, the anchor for the star's magnificent and powerful light. And the flame was transformed. It was no longer just a small and a gentle teardrop of gold. It was now a brilliant, magnificent, and unbelievably powerful beacon. It was a fusion of two magics, a perfect and a beautiful harmony of the warm and the cold, the intimate and the eternal, the earthly and the celestial. It was a light of pure and of perfect and of all-encompassing hope, and it blazed out from the small chapel window with a power that was 100 times greater than before, a magnificent, warm, and silver-gold beam that cut through the thick and the heavy fog as if it were nothing. The ending, the whisper of Christmas. The small, lost, and terrified lamb, stumbling through the white and featureless darkness, saw the light. It was a warm and a welcoming light, a light that spoke of safety, of shelter, of home. And with a new and a hopeful bleat, it turned, and it began to walk slowly and steadily towards the beautiful and the life-saving beacon. The candle and the star held their connection, their perfect and their sacred harmony, until the small and now safe lamb had reached the warm and the dry shelter of the chapel's open oaken door. Their work was done. The star released its powerful and its focused beam and returned to its gentle and its all-encompassing celestial watch. The candle's flame returned to its own familiar and gentle golden glow. The fog, its magical and its instructive purpose now served, began to slowly and gently dissipate. The candle looked up at the star, its golden light a soft and a humble thank you. The star looked down at the candle, its silver-white light a bright and a respectful nod. They were not rivals anymore. They were partners. They had learned the great and the beautiful secret. The candle knew that its warmth, without a higher guidance, was small and limited, and the star knew that its grand and its distant light, without a close and a warm heart to shine through, was cold and lonely. They had learned that the most powerful light in the universe is not the one that shines the brightest or the warmest. It is the light that knows how and when to shine together. The narrator reflects that we all have our own unique light to shine in the world. Some of us are candles offering a close and a personal warmth, and some of us are stars offering a distant and an inspiring guidance. And we can spend our entire lives believing that our own particular light is the only one that truly matters. But the deepest and the most beautiful magic happens when we learn to let go of our pride and to recognize that every light has its purpose, and that the greatest and most healing and most hopeful light of all is the one we create in perfect harmony together. And that's how Christmas found its way into another heart.